Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Entree Woman TV. In this video, I'm going to be doing just my first impressions of my first rental with LensRentals.com. This video is not sponsored, but it is sponsored by me because it's all my money from my company going into it. But otherwise, let's jump into it. So if you're new here to the channel, on this channel, I help you share your vision using video and all things like as such as, because it is very important that your vision come to life, and I believe video is one of the best ways to do that. So if that's something that you're into, gear, tech things, as well as the video marketing aspects of how to use video to promote your business, consider subscribing. All right, enough of that. Now, I had a video shoot that would require more cameras than what I currently own, especially after switching brands. I went from Canon to Panasonic, and now I am with Team #Sony. I eventually will get to the point to where, I have 2, potentially 3 camera bodies. It's usually somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 is how many cameras that I run. But this one required 3 different cameras, and I did not own them currently. So what I had to do was rent. Now, I've seen plenty of people talk about LensRentals.com and several other companies, in addition to what you can rent locally. But I think one of the most important things when it comes to benefiting you guys, because maybe you don't have a production and editing company, so you don't need all of this stuff to make it work. However, I do believe that if you are interested in getting started in doing video for your business, and you're looking at some of these different cameras, it's pretty gosh darn expensive to get started. Even $500, which in the camera world could be a lower price point for, some budget friendly cameras, and $1,000 is just when you're really starting to hit the sweet spot for some brands. That's a lot of money, and I don't, sugarcoat that at all. It's quite a bit of money, not to mention accessories, lighting, hashtag, all the things. But a way to mitigate that and kind of get around that temporarily is to rent equipment. So you don't have to get as much as I did. It was a pretty price tag to pick up some of these different things, but I'm loving it, including the 28 to 75 millimeter lens by Tamron that I'm using right now for this particular shot. So that's not included, but we are using it. Why should you rent gear? I think if you need to try something out, that's one reason. And if you really don't want to take that deep dive just yet, rent the equipment for 7 days is typically what you'll see the average, rental for the items start to come up with. But I would say at least see if you can get anywhere from 2 weeks to 30 days. The reason being is because you don't know all of the ins and outs. Your muscle memory hasn't kicked in. Even as many tutorials or playlists that you have set aside for when you get your camera, it really doesn't matter until you get the gear in your hands. And then you can really see with your own eyes, just with your own hands, is it as easy in person as it is on somebody's video? When you are figuring out what equipment that you want to use or want to buy, I think it's super important to get hands-on with it. If you can't afford it quite yet, it will give you the opportunity to maybe get some better quality videos depending on what you're starting with. Like if you're moving from your phone, which really gets really great quality these days, average phone, and you maybe want to step up to a mirrorless camera and see, is it worth all the hype? This is a Zoom H6 here that comes in its own cases and all that. Again, I'll touch on that in just a little bit, but if you want to jump to that, I'll try to do the timestamps down below. Don't hold me to it. But it got the Zoom H6, and it's sometimes hard on some of these videos on YouTube to see the user interface and to really see, is it easy for me to navigate, or was that a jump cut in somebody's video? So when I'm looking at the equipment that I'm considering to buy or considering to use, one of the things that I like, especially getting it for extended periods of time, then it gives me an opportunity to not just watch the tutorials, but go through them myself and see how easy it is for me to use. One of the cool things that I love that Lens Rentals does is the box that this stuff comes in, they also give you return shipping and labeling already included in the package. So you keep the brown boxes that they send you, and then you just rewrap them up with the instructions that they give you, and you're off to the races. Something else that they're doing that I like, but I'm not quite fond of at the same time, is the ability to purchase. Even if you've had a poor experience with something before, let's say, for example, I did my whole rant video, I'm switching to Sony and da-da-da-da-da, and then I say, well, the M6 Mark II, maybe it checks all the boxes for the things that I would want just for my YouTube videos. Let me see if it's worth the money. So I can take that camera, I can rent it for as long as I need to or want to or can afford to, and then I can return it or they have what they call a keepers program, where a portion of the rental fee would go towards the purchase of that item. And from what I've seen, for example, one of these A6400s is like $700 and something, like let's say $780 per camera body. Is like a $65 credit. And I think I've had this stuff for maybe about 10 or so days. The most credit that I would get for that is $65 per camera body. For the Rode Wireless Goes, for example, though, it's about $200. And I think that may be like a $20 credit or something like that. So is it all that great? As far as, it depends on the price of the thing, the age of it, and some other factors go into that. But it's really interesting that you could buy it. It works out depending on what you obviously go in with a plan of how you want to use this equipment. As far as the packaging and all that, super stellar. Everything comes in these hard cases. They lock in and you are good to go. If you cannot toss this thing somewhere and it doesn't break the person, their glasses or otherwise, versus this case, I would be highly surprised. It probably takes a lot of damage, but I'm not willing to test that out. So even with the camera equipment that this stuff comes in, everything comes. So for example, the 28-75 lens will come in like this lens bag for its own protection, and on top of additional stuff. I got an extra 2 A6400s on top of another Rode Wireless Go system, all of that stuff. Everything comes in a great case, well padded, waterproof, water sealing, and all of that. Amazing quality packaging that they're giving you here. When it comes to you, your money, your dollar, and what it is that you're going to be potentially investing in for your business or whatever the case is, again, sometimes these, like, to buy all of this stuff could have been a few $1,000s, not even could have been, would have been a few $1,000s for sure. But if I decided, like for example, I bought the original Zoom H4 and turned out I did not like it. But I've really been hesitant on buying another audio recorder simply because my experience the first time buying it, just solely like off of what people quote unquote say on YouTube, I didn't like it. So what I decided was, let me rent the Zoom for this project and let me see if the user interface is better and if it's going to work for me. They do give, like for the referral links or something like that, one, let's just call it an affiliate link, but it's like a referral link or what have you, where you can get like either 10% off or $25 off your first rental purchase. I'll link that down below. I was able to use somebody else's on YouTube as well that I was watching reviews to. I'm like, okay, I'll support that person. And it saved me, I think, like $67, almost $70 off the cost of my rental. Wanted to give a quick thank you to the employees at Lens Rentals because I actually made 2 separate orders, one for the camera and lenses and then one for the Zoom H6, and the Zoom H6 came a couple months afterwards, or that order came a couple months afterwards. They thought enough of me to call immediately after I placed the order, said, hey, we saw you had 2 of them. Would you like to combine these, save on the shipping costs? We can save you a few extra money by combining the orders, and you'll still get both items at the same time. And they looked at the date that I had things coming out with the holidays coming up, suggested I do it a day early in case UPS fails for any reason. And turns out UPS actually did fail, and they delivered everything a day late, even though Lens Rentals sent it out when they were supposed to. But thank you, Lens Rentals, just for thinking enough about my order to get me my stuff early, combine it, and save me extra money. So thanks so much. I was not expecting it, so that was definitely a surprise savings. So hopefully that helps give you some insight into the character of this company. I don't know much about them, honestly, other than my experience with them has been phenomenal, and I'm super pleased to try this stuff out. They absolutely got me hooked into this this stuff. But then too, it lets me know I want a 17-28 or a 16-35 focal range, and that the Zoom H6 will work for me. And this was so valuable for me. I hope it was valuable to you, just even to hear some of that experience and help you in maybe getting your next camera and or accessory. So let me know your comments or thoughts down below. Would you rent equipment, or are you just solely on buying it? So let me know down below. But with that, guys, I'll see you in the next video.